Well, hello again, friends and fans. Raptor here. Welcome back to Wargame AirLand Battle. And we have something a little interesting and a little different this time. Pete here has not played Wargame for quite some time, so I figured it's the perfect time to go over the basics of the game with everyone who may be new. For those of you who haven't picked it up from the start, or maybe after the first few weeks it was out, it's a good time to go over everything in the game, basic and advanced, intermediate, and everything in between. So, McGee there is Pete in the computer versus computer. Hello, Pete.
Oh.
Alright, so anyway, basics in Wargame AirLand Battle are pretty simple and straightforward. If you've never played the game, the objective is basically to, or at least in destruction mode, is to kind of capture these points with different numbers on them, indicating different point values, and eliminate the enemy to a certain point. Basically a limit started that you picked before the game started, I should say. But anyway, you have your big mini-map here, which is nice. It's not so much of a mini-map, but you can click anywhere to get that to move and zoom in and out. You've got your flares, which include attack, defend, help, and then you can type your own message. I honestly wish there was extras, including artillery and whatnot, but basically what you want to do is keep a command back. Pete's put his in the woods there, and he's bringing up ATGMs and shoulder launch stuff. We'll be both playing as Canada, by the way, with Pete having some other mixed units in with that. Is that right?
Not on this deck now.
Okay, so these are some of the units the Canadians have to offer. It's very important, by the way, to have, I would say, light and heavy logistics if you can afford it, and also to have some light and heavy command vehicles if you can afford it. Recon is extremely important in this game as well. The smaller the vehicle, the better it's hidden and the faster it goes. Infantry is also very small and can get close to the enemy in its transport, and even closer if it's infantry. Cougar is a kind of a defensive or offensive recon. It can drive by, drive in, kill a command, find something, and a CH-136 can do the same with its minigun. Tanks here for the Canadians include the Centurions, Cougars, and Leopards, or Leopards. Canadian Rifles, Vandus. Very elite, very, very highly trained infantry here. These are some badass loggers. So once you're done putting out your infantry, you may want to bring out some radar-guided weapons as well. Actually, the ADATS is not radar-guided, but it can, well, it is actually. Well, let's see here. If you want to see more about a unit, all you have to do is click on it, put it onto the field, and you can actually hover over it and press tab. Actually, that doesn't work. But if it's deployed on the field, you can see it. But there you can see it's heat-guided and AOE, area of effect. So watch out for seed aircraft with that. And, of course, you've got your TOWs and such, which are some long-ranged missile systems. Now, we chose to fight the computer to no point limit, so that way I could kind of explain some things a little bit more in depth. I've had several requests for that as well, so we may as well do it. ADATS is an impressive weapon system as well that's very costly and will be targeted first by enemy forces. As you can see, Pete already has one in the back with a Chimera, a Leo, and a few other small things, and it's good to keep it small when you're dealing with smaller battle groups. So, Pete, what side do you want to take of the map?
I'm thinking Golf Delta.
Okay, so I will take Echo Foxtrot. We will use this large highway where units can move fast along to get to their positions. We'll probably not want to go further than this destroyed bridge here with units, so that way if we're going to Delta, it's probably best to get off the road before we get there, and that's what we'll do. So at the start of the game, you can also choose aircraft. You can start, like for instance, the Canadian Freedom Fighters, but you cannot put them out until after the start, and if you make a mistake, just go ahead and right click on those units and they will disappear and you'll be fully refunded, unlike an EA title. Ooh, snap. So anyway, let's go ahead, Pete. You'll keep a command back. I'm going to move left and I'll talk as we go along. Pete, of course, just needs to stretch his little Canadian legs a little bit, so we'll get him back into the game. Some things been explained. Of course, if you need more help, watch more of these videos, like, comment, and subscribe. Pete, let's do it. I'm going to use the Grizzlies because they are some badasses who got some CQC, and the Grizzly transport is basically an armored Ferrari. Yeah, very nice. Helicopters also help to get troops into battle. Keep in mind CH-135s have a minigun on them, which makes them very deadly. Let's see if we can see that.
Essentially a Huey, really.
Yes, essentially it is. And basically, your troops can come in groups of 2, which, if one is shot down and they're in close proximity, could damage or destroy the other one. Special forces have a higher chance of surviving in a battle. I've not yet been able to use the Highlanders, unfortunately. At least their IRCs I've not been able to use. I really want to see that in use today.
Oh, they're quite something in a town.
Oh, man, I really want to. By the way, the IRCs are, like, unmatched when it comes to... Look at that. Accuracy 12, AP power... if you have a T-80U that drives through a town and you have Highlanders in it and they don't see it, that's game over for that tank. So what I'm going to do is going to show you some basics of the game. artillery and AA and recon. We'll get some recon units down here. And of course, you know what? If you're a pro, then just keep watching and help someone else out who's new to the game as well. And of course, keep an eye out for Wargame Red Dragon. That will be coming out soon. And of course, yours truly will be the first to cover it if all goes well. So let's start it up, Pete. Let's launch the battle. The computer, again, will fight us. They're on easy, and it is a Soviet battle group. So for those of you starting the game for the first time, I would suggest keeping two nations that are familiar to you. United States, Canada are both good if those are the nations you're from. And of course, they've got a really nice spread that makes the game easier. Some of the other nations can be a little bit more specific, but me and Pete both here have picked units that are pretty... nations that are pretty well-rounded, pretty well-balanced. The Canadians lack a little bit of AA sometimes, but in the right hands, you can really do a lot of damage, eh?
Oh yeah.
So M125s are 81mm mortars that can do one of two things. You can target nearby targets with corrected shot if you can see accurately on it, or on corrected shots if you can't, like for instance all the way back here at this lake. You can also lay down smoke. If, for instance, the enemy had ATGMs in here, you can go ahead and correct shot on that to get a tight group of smoke, put down the smoke, and then advance in with infantry or tanks, and they'll be unopposed until they get very close. CH-135s are going to spread out over here to block the enemy spawning point, which it's been I do not see that happen as much in this game now. I don't go for spawn points as much as I did in European Escalation. But there you go. There's your smoke. If ATGMs were behind that wall of smoke, the enemy wouldn't be able to fire in it. Now, a good question that I want to ask the community, and Pete, I don't know if you know the answer to this, but somebody asked me the other day how radar units are affected by smoke. And here's what my assumption is. If a radar unit is smoked out and cannot see a helicopter from that smoke, it will not be able to see and thus cannot fire on that unit. But if another unit sees that helicopter and, for instance, an AA unit was behind the smoke, it can still fire through the smoke so long as it can see it. So if you block the unit's line of sight, it will not fire. If another unit has line of sight on it and there's smoke in front of it, it will fire. Confirm or, I guess, debunk that rumor or that question down below in the comments. So anyway, the enemy has now started to take Charlie and is starting to move up on Pete's side over here. He's taking a far defensive position with his CP, and the Canadian forces are arriving along with this beautiful beast. No, it's not a Chevy Suburban. It's a Chimera. Let's go ahead and take a look at what this unit can do here. So if you click on a unit, like I said, and press tab, you can see all of its stats. Look at the range to ground, accuracy, AP power, even its front armor is 20. This is basically the Canadian T-80U. In fact, actually what this is a stack of pancakes with syrup on it with a stick in the front of it, and boy is it one hell of a beast. Pete will come against enemy forces soon, but for now let's go back over and look at what we're dealing with. Enemy troops look like they're arriving, so we're going to pull our CH-135s back and take defensive positions. Looks like they're actually AA, so we're going to get out of there. As you can see, AA fires and crashed into our infantry, killing some of our infantry, and they're starting to rout. Meanwhile, another chopper shot down, and these are only a few points each, but you can see PAC's already ahead by 60 points just from destroying transports. So what we're going to do is we're going to put these Vandus here and block the enemy spawn point, which should be able to get us some points back if they attack at Bravo. Meanwhile, Charlie may be where we want to attack. Now, I've done a horrible job of setting up my defenses here and really have no units ready yet for two reasons. One, I was talking like an idiot, and two is because I want to show things before I deploy them. So it's good to keep shoulder-launched AA out of buildings. Leave those defensive positions for tougher infantry so they can last longer, like for instance these Vandus. I've currently been bringing units out in groups of 3, but infantry can be brought out in groups of 4 or via air transport of groups of 2, as you saw over here with these other Vandus. Also, infantry can be brought out in helicopters and ground transports, but they're under 2 different tabs. So, for instance, if you have Vandus and CH-135s and Vandus and Grizzlies, then those are two different deck cards. You have to get cards, I guess you could call them, units. So Pete's advancing with the M35 for cheap recon, and it's not loaded, so if anything's in there, it'll explode. He could also use that to transport the Pathfinders forward. Jameer is moving up the road, it's a very smart unit to bring on the road, too, if you've got the flank, which he sees with Pathfinders. So Bravo is now taken by the enemy, so now it might be time for payback. In the meantime, we're going to bring out our logistics, 65-point rookie CH-147. Now that'll help to resupply our Vandus. If units are low on ammo, have taken damage, or in this case, infantry have taken losses, they can be pulled back and resupplied with air or ground based logistics. Now, beer uses, BMP 1Ps are moving up, so we're gonna want to be careful with that there. And actually, let's bring up some units to fight these guys finally. So we're gonna bring up some leopards, probably a group of 4. Looks like they're getting ready to fire at us now. Vandus are taking some hits from T-72Bs and beer uses, so they're gonna have to hold. Pete, what can you do to help me out over here?
Let's see what I can do, shall we?
Let's try some aircraft. Strelas are the only thing over here, really. And so we could bring out something to do
Bring
with
a
them.
Hornet out.
That wouldn't be bad. I got artillery coming down as well, but they've gotten too close, and now the Canadian Vandus are starting to take them down. Very good. We'll recruit those points, and we're already up to 90. Artillery's coming in to panic our units and hinder resupply.
I have a Hornet coming in right on top of that Strela.
Alright, so let's go ahead and watch this. By the way, if you want to zoom in and see what's going on with units, if you hold your mouse over it so it's highlighted white, then you can zoom in. You'll see this Hornet come in from the side of the Strela and drop a couple of their
Clusters.
They are the Rockeye 2 clusters. Yes, clusters are great. He's getting shot at there. It's Winchester. He's retreating due to lack of ammo. And you can see everything in the Soviet arsenal trying to fire at that Canadian pilot, but he was able to make it out.
Down.
Very good. So the Strelas was taken out there. Look at that. Burning hull. Very nice. Very good. So now we can have our Canadians be resupplied. They smoked out our position as they made their retreat, which is very smart of the computer, by the way. I do not see players do that. So as you can see, with one failed attack, we are now ahead by almost 200 points. So there you go. Now, in the meantime, I've got leopards coming. By the way, units can be affected by terrain or conditions like being detracked or having their optical sight destroyed or damaged. And as you saw there, that they were some of those were stopped from CH-147 was destroyed, unfortunately, by those T-72s. But now those bastards are going to pay for it. And now we're bringing up our Leos.
Looks like they've actually lost Charlie somehow.
It looks like they've possibly pulled out. They may have seen you coming. Leo C1s are now going to attack T-72s. Going to take a hit there from T-72s, but these Leos can take a couple of beatings before they have to pull back. Now this is going to stop the enemy here. We're going to actually call out a freedom fighter now to take out the Mi-24P. These are big points and big risks. We're luring the enemy in. We're sacrificing some points. We'll be close to him again. But the CF-188 is going to take him down. Pete's got an eye on BRM-1K, so hopefully he can take that down with some infantry or tank. We've got one tank left, but the enemy's going to have none. Look at that. Oh, they've taken some heavy damage there on a few of those units, but we've lost all of ours. I thought most of them would be destroyed, but that is not the case. Mi-24P is now, I don't understand what, oh, they're just out of range with those Vandus. Shame. Freedom fighter should be able to take down that P. Oh, very close. Oh, wow, you actually got him good. Alright, we need some progress here. So I've spent a lot of my points on that. We're going to wait until we get a Chimera, then we're going to... Oh, Pete's now going to take the T-72s down that are lured out. Very funny how frustrating the computer can play. Even though they're on easy, they can still give you a real beating. So Pete's Canadian bomber there also doing a lot of damage to him. BRM-1K very stupidly brought out over there where they don't expect this to happen during a regular battle, but these Vandus are going to actually make sure they get that unit. I'm going to move them closer. Track and transactional hit. Oh, that's it. What'd you say?
That's a nice kill.
Yeah, that's it's not going to happen during your regular games, but I think the enemy was just throwing us a bone there. So Vandus are in good, heavy defensive positions here in some of these buildings. As they pass by the T-72s, more smoke's coming down, and that might actually hinder them from firing. I don't understand why these... Oh, they're there.
Are you in a position to take Echo?
Well, yeah, let's go ahead and try that. We'll move up with a few Grizzlies here.
Yeah, a couple infantry units in that first town there just to deny, I think would be a good idea.
Alright. Very good combined assault here from enemy forces. We're going to hit these T-72s again with cluster bombs, and I'm also going to bring up a Chimera to kind of end this frustration. he can lay down a nice long base of fire, a continuous. Well, I brought up Grizzlies. The infantry wasn't in it. By the way, remember to load up your units as you move out, and remember to continue to use them repeatedly throughout the battle. You can bring them up, drop them off, pick them up, do it again and again, so you can, you know, they're reusable. NATO's now ahead again. I have no idea how we did that. We seem to be performing miracles tonight. 120 points on those B1s, so those are definitely units that can survive a beating. I'm going to try to take out that Mi-24P, and Pete's now in a very good defensive position there, as yours truly has also parked Grizzlies here. Grizzlies are great units too, by the way, for quick recon and quick drop-off of infantry. Now that we're unopposed, we can even bring a command up there, but we're going to vote against that for now. T-72Bs are doing a great job against these Canadians. Again, Canadians built for a lot of things, but not taking down T-72B1s with their bare hands, unfortunately. There went a Canadian fist, and you saw. They're actually armed with 84mm heats, and they've got 3 rounds left, taking down another. And here comes our freedom fighter, by the way. Good hits, and he got it, and he's pulling out. Turbine failure and a kerosene leak. A lot of hits there. He's going down. He will not make it. Wow, he actually did. That is incredible. Artillery coming down. We got another group of T-72B1s moving in. Beer uses as well. Grizzlies are going to be hit with basic strikes. Now these are worth 15 points each, which is a lot of points sitting there for the enemy. And if you clear out a couple of those, that could be 60 points, and that could turn the tide of battle. So I'm going to actually remove myself from that situation now. BMPs are coming from all over. Chimera is slow and go. He's got a good area of defense, but don't use him for attacking. I think we should use more aircraft, though. Target soft targets. BMP-1s are fantastic to kill.
I'm going to try to kill that Barriosa.
Yeah, I'm bringing that out as well. Oh, good. Yeah, let's do double hits on it. We'll try to get the tank that's there. T-72B1, by the way, keep track of top armor, too. That's very important. Pete's doing very good work there. Grizzlies are continually destroyed. BMP-1Ps, though, are going to die. All of them hit, and the infantry inside. Big points there. Big points. Losing most of the Grizzlies there, but it helped us to keep eyes on the enemy and also lured them in for an attack. But don't do that with expensive units. It was really kind of stupid to leave those there, but it gave us a good advantage. All right, we've now got almost 1,000 points to the enemy. More BMPs over here that Pete could take advantage of. BMP-1P is now firing at the Chimera here, and we're going to go ahead and respond.
I've got a tight grouping of BMP-1Ps over here in Charlie, so I'm going to try to hit them.
There you go. Go for it. I've also got a T-72B1 that we're about to square off against. As you can see, he missed there. Canadian unit is nice and slow and nice and low to the ground. Good hits from Pete over there. Wow, look at the fire.
I saw 4 and killed like 6.
Wow, that's incredible. Again, don't expect those groupings in your regular multiplayer games. A longer a unit comes under fire, even if the hits are not directly on the vehicle. If hits hit close to that vehicle, artillery, bombs, or a direct hit like that, they will become worried and then panicked and shaken, and they will not be able to perform their duties. The more elite a unit is, like for instance, you can see here that this Canadian unit is veteraned, and then it can hold here a little longer. Again, damage is affecting it. It won't be able to move as fast, but it's a stationary unit that's taking hits right to the nose and doing what it's supposed to. It's deflecting all the shots as it's returning fire, and goodbye, Russia. So there you go. That's the end of that tank engagement there. Pete's now going to get ready to move in here. One thing Pete should have did is have more infantry ready to go. He could use these Highlanders in a both effective defensive and an offensive way, but no big deal here. The enemy's now bringing an Su-24 MP, which is a great bomber. I'm going to leave my unit here just to kind of show you what can be done against huge bombs on that thing. That thing is a big bomber and almost took out the Chimera here, but still standing. If you're going to have big units out here in the open, always bring AA, so this would have been a good time for the ADATs.
You have an MiG-25 PD out.
Yeah, and they're retreating. That unit can take out infrared. It's a very good anti-aircraft weapon, but doesn't have a main gun, so not so good for helicopters. ADATs, by the way, I should mention, can also take out ground units, so this ADATs is worth double because it can shoot at aircraft or ground base.
It's highly effective.
Highly effective, if it hits. The accuracy is...
The AP is out of
The AP is high. The accuracy is high, but Still 9 is, even though it's blue, is not so good. Chimera is now being smoked out. Mi-24P is now moving to the other ADATs. Good example of what we were just talking about. There's one miss. MP is returning fire. It looks like it's going to be a hit on the ADATs. No. ADAT, see that accuracy? 9 doesn't really mean much. It's missing. ADATs is going to become panicked soon. He's shaken. Mi-24P is very calm since he hasn't been... Oh, now he's hit. Oh, panicked. And the ADATs is down. So as you can see, the ADATs is kind of a blessing and a curse sometimes. A good unit, though, to have when you're trying to take down aircraft, but not so much helicopters. It can't take too many direct hits. Mi-24MP is coming out, so let's use our Hornets against that. And also, you know what, we're going to try to take it down with Hornets, and there they go. Oh, he's going to bomb the city. Have these units out of their transports. If units and transports get killed, then they're done. Javelins also work good against taking out aircraft. Freedom Fighter is chasing the Mi-24P. As you can see, he's got both missiles and a machine gun, which helps to finish it off. So if you're trying to take down aircraft, try to use... Mi-25 is out. If you're trying to take down aircraft, try to use a unit that has missiles, and if you're trying to take out helicopters, use one that has, as you saw here, the computer tried to use a unit that has only missiles for aircraft to try to take down helicopters. Again, it tried to lure them out. Some players will, by the way, continuously go for transport here. Destroyed, by the way, for the ADATs. Chimera's standing firm. Some players will go for transports. If they can get a small lead that way, that's what they will do, and some people will take what they can get. So keep your things hidden. And by the way, remember, the longer units are out and the longer they burn fuel, that's how long it takes to refuel them back at base. If they take damage, it takes longer to refuel and repair and rearm those units back at base than it normally would if they just need a couple of drops of gas. So keep that in mind. Chimera is being smoked out again. T-72B1 trying to be sneaky. Pete, speaking of sneaky, is moving up with ATGMs and also has some Vandus ready to go on the left side. Chimera is just out just kind of waiting to lure enemy fire in. ADATs, I think, may have come on our fire there. I don't know. MP, hold on. MP's dropped bombs on the Chimera. Pete is down to 3. Oh, Hornets coming in. Here we go. Bombing run for Pete. By the way, I wouldn't recommend this, what's Pete doing here. It's kind of risky with the AA and stuff. Other players would be straight on it. Players have specific decks.
I just killed his CV.
There you go. See? You can take risks like that to kill command vehicles and push enemies out of areas and deny them points. Just make sure it's worth it. So remember, if you see an enemy, if you see, like for instance, this little AA unit, no need to send out something to try to deal with that. Speaking of dealing with that, oh, snap dog. Yeah, ADAT's living up to its name. Really doing ADAT's does well when it's not the center of attention. Let's just put it that way. Looks like Motor Streliki and tons of other units are coming, so now it's time to let's try to bring out a ton of units and see what happens. Now, sometimes you might want to bring out the T-80U, but other times you might want to just bring out a ton of guns. Now, some people will call this spamming, but sometimes if all you have is tanks, then bring out a lot of tanks. You can hit units and panic them and take them out of the battle. Meanwhile, you can focus on the bigger armored vehicles like the T-72B1, and that'll help you to score points. Now, even if you lose an engagement, that doesn't mean you can't make it costly for the enemy. Again, if you bring a Chimera into battle and kill 3 enemy tanks that are worth 95 points and you lose 1 Chimera, might be worth it for you. Tanks deploy slowly, by the way. It takes a while for them to get to the certain areas that they're moving to. Take a look at them as they move down the road. Very nice stuff. Pete, it's been a while since I've played like this. It's kind of nice to pretend to be newbie. Uh-oh. Speaking of newbie, CP out in the open. Pete's command vehicle is gone.
Yeah.
There you go. Always keep units, keep units in cover. Then this is good. The mistakes that we're making, I will probably make even when I'm trying to play professionally. But these are just some basic tips and tricks on how to, keep things covered. And sometimes you might want to keep a command vehicle near a road to get out of there quickly because the enemy's coming. Sometimes you might want to sneak in and, like for instance, early in the game, we could have brought a command chopper to Bravo and then brought in units and blocked them here at Alpha. You never know. It all depends on each playstyle. And in Wargame AirLand battle, the playstyles can be vastly different. Again, a lot of players like to bring the mixed decks because, there's a variety of things you could deal with. But, for instance, when you're dealing with just a group of Spetsnaz, everything could vary on depending on what that deck is. If they had elite infantry out and that's all they had and there was ton of them surrounding a farm, you're not going to win that farm battle. But when it comes tank v tank and you're versus T-62s and your Chimera, you're the king of the road. So anyway, we've got about a minute left here. Let's take out this Biryusa with this Chimera again, just to kind of show you basic tank combat as our Centurions arrive. Again, these are slow gas guzzlers. Keep an eye out on what speed is. Keep an eye out on what they do. Kinetic energy rounds are extremely effective. This is 84 millimeters of pain for the Centurion, accuracy of 3. But again, you can stun the hell out of the enemy, and even if these are getting blown up, the Chimera can clean up and regain that point value. Speaking of regaining point value, it's time for that MP to go down. Pete is now bringing out the Hornet to chase out the MP. He might get away, but Pete may fire at it beforehand. I don't think that's possible. But in the meantime, he can change his target to the ground, which he did. And let's see what he gets. Anything? I don't know.
Yeah, something. I don't know what it was. 25 points.
There you go. I'm going to come up behind this B1. Again, this is very stupid to move in the middle of the map with aircraft, but just kind of keep an eye on it. Don't do it when you're playing on your own. Looks like the Hornets were able to drop their bombs. Strela, by the way, cannot be attacked by anti-radar missile systems. The reason it can't is because it fires infrared. So if you're using seed aircraft, there you go. So anyway, Pete stretched his legs a little bit. We graduated with more than half the enemy's points, but yours truly took 630 points worth of losses. So Pete didn't do so bad. But it's lesson learned for everyone. I hope you guys please, like this episode to kind of, appreciate the basic values of the game. You play with them every day, every time you go out. Setup is valuable, moving fast is valuable. There's just tons that I missed, but this will probably be few and far in between that I kind of do these little sit down and chill out war game battles. I know you guys want the action, so coming up next is going to be action packed. Oh yeah, just like stuffed pancakes, Pete. Yeah, your favorite. So, until next time, this is Raptor for Pete, reminding you to keep the password and pimpan strong, bring the cornucopia of pain, and we'll see you. Bye. Well, hello there once again, friends and fans. Raptor here. And golly, what do we have here? Oh, it's Gaul. That's right. Hey, welcome back. AirLand battle. That's right. It's yours truly versus Inquis. Sergeant there is playing on the side of... wait a minute. Yours truly is NATO, and he is packed. Oh, my God.